One is the one that always makes the difference. If one baby, boy, or girl were saved for an abortion next Friday here in Helena, this baby could be the one to touch and change the world on some future Friday many years from now. This one baby could grow up to find the cure for the world's deadliest diseases. This one baby could invent and proffer a scientifically and fiscally marketable solution providing free energy to the world. This one baby could bring peace, harmony, and spark a common sense revival in a world that is moving toward destruction because of hate, bigotry, prejudice, and the injustices these attacks on the value of one cause. One smile can brighten a day. One song can lighten a burden. One memory can create a heritage. One word can change a life. One day can make a difference. One prayer can bring a miracle. One life can touch eternity. And one baby, never underestimate the value of that one baby. One can make a difference, and there is one who beckons you to be such a one who protects such a one. We pray each of you will raise the torch of freedom, liberty, and justice for all, including the unborn, and march in faith, prayer, and action for life today. May God bless you, and may God bless the unborn through you. Amen.
What a story. In a moment, I'll introduce Jack Curren. Jack is an assistant to U.S. Senator Steve Daines. He came over from Missoula. But first, I want to acknowledge any other political leaders who are here. Any who are elected and serving now, if you would just raise your hand. And if you are a candidate for office, would you please raise your hand as well? Thank you. Just a few that we knew who would be here. Deborah Lamb is a candidate for U.S. Congress. She has some Randy Alcorn books about abortion. Tim Fox is a candidate for governor. Dr. Al Olszewski is a candidate for governor. Owen Greenwood is a candidate for Secretary of State. Austin Knudsen, a candidate for Attorney General, as is John Binion. And Matt Rosendale is also a candidate for U.S. Congress. Just a word about government. We hold these nationwide gatherings this cold time of year because January 22nd, 1973 was the decision of Roe versus Wade. And that opened the floodgates for abortion. You know, 1961 was a memorable year for many things. We drove from Colorado Springs all the way to New York City and to D.C., but in New York City, Dad took us to see the New York Yankees play the Washington Senators. And both Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris hit home runs, won the game. Later that year, of course, Roger Maris set a record at that time, 61 home runs. Do you know how many abortions were recorded in the United States in 1961? 292. It's just unbelievable to think that the floodgates opened so that 1.5 million babies some years were aborted. So we've lost about 60 million. If we wiped out the population of California, New York, and Illinois, it would be about the same. Last year, Planned Parenthood performed 345,672 abortions, the largest number of abortions in a year that they have recorded. It's 950 babies a day, and they use $616 million of our tax dollars. In Montana in 2017, the last year for which we have statistics, 1,561 babies lost their lives to abortion, about the population of Choteau. So with those sobering thoughts, Jack Curren, please read your letter from Steve Daines.
Dear friends, today as you gather here on the steps of the Capitol building in unity to fight for those without a voice, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your persistence in fighting for those most vulnerable among us, the unborn. I'm honored to call you allies and friends. As American citizens, we must uphold our founding principle that all men and women are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Every human life must be valued. Every human life must be protected from conception until death. As your United States Senator, I consider it a privilege to carry on this fight for life with you. Thanks to President Trump and the Republican Senate, we have appointed over 100 new conservative federal judges onto the bench. More importantly, these are lifetime appointments. Last year, I co-sponsored the Protect Funding for Women's Healthcare Act, which would defund Planned Parenthood, and led a letter with 48 of my colleagues to President Trump to stop legislation coming out of the House that erodes pro-life protections. I will continue to fight to pass the Pain-Capable Unborn Child Protection Act. I'm also pushing the Conscience Protection Act, which would prevent governmental discrimination against individuals and health service providers who refuse involvement in abortions. It is our duty to raise our voices for the most vulnerable in our society. I will continue to be a consistent and uncompromising voice for life. As always, if I can ever be of assistance, please do not hesitate to reach out. God bless. Steve Daines, United States Senator.
Our next speaker is Eric Hutch. He's the Director of Church Engagement and Billings for Communio, a nonprofit helping churches to strengthen marriages and families. He has over 20 years of ministry experience, most recently as marriage and family pastor for Harvest Church in Billings. Eric and his wife Sherry have counseled many couples from the brink of divorce back to marital health and wholeness. Eric and Sherry have been married for 30 years. They enjoy exploring Montana waterways in their kayak and hiking mountain trails. They have 4 sons and 2 grandsons. Please welcome Eric.
Well, greetings and thank you. I'm honored to be with you for this very sacred event. There's a story before my story, one I discovered late in life, and one with shared significance to why we're gathered here today. I was unplanned. I never expressed interest nor asked my parents about my adoption circumstances. In all fairness, I didn't know what nor how to ask them. I feared my inquiries would be interpreted as ungratefulness or betrayal, so I asked nothing. I awakened to the realization of my adoption around 10 to 12 years of age when a friend asked me, "Where are your parents?" Well, I did what any other little boy would do. I pointed across the room and I said, "That's where my parents are." He responded and said, "Those are your parents? You look nothing like them." In that moment, I realized I was different from Mom and Dad. And I felt strong emotions, but I couldn't identify them. I can identify them today, what my 10, 12-year-old self was feeling. Abandoned, rejected, confused, sad, and lonely. At the time, I had little idea how those emotions would influence future decisions in my life. My wife Sherry and I met on a blind date in high school, the summer before my senior year and her sophomore year, July 28th, 1984. We continued dating beyond high school as I attended Montana State University, go Cats, to pursue a degree in business. Upon graduation from college, we married 5 years and 24 hours to the day of that very first date at the Last Chance Stampede and Fair. That's not where we got married, but that's where we met.